Hey everybody, and welcome to Shield's 90-second cyber story. Again, 90 seconds, we're going to run through a story real quick, and then I'm going to follow up with some details on it and practical ways to avoid it. So let's get rolling. Hey everybody, you're being hacked, and it's our fault. Okay, it's not our fault. It's not Shield Network's fault. It's not my fault. But typically it's the fault of your what's called your MSP, your managed service provider, your IT service provider, or even your IT group. What we're seeing, and we're going to do the 90-second story right now, is places like in Texas, 23 municipalities were infected by ransomware. There was another MSP that specialized in helping dentist office. Tons of them were impacted. And what happened was those IT service providers were not properly protecting themselves. And they're obviously their clients. So what happened was the MSP, the IT service provider, was hacked, infiltrated. They were not using the proper security methods, the proper security protocols, and hackers managed to infiltrate their system. Well, of course, once they infiltrated their system, they were able to go out and infect their clients. This was on a huge scale. The impact was enormous. This all happened just in the last few months here. You can Google it and read about it. It was huge. So that poor MSP, I mean, it was self-inflicted. They didn't do it properly. But at the end of the day, what they ended up having to tell their customers, because obviously they were calling in a panic because they were all being hit by ransomware. See a previous video about ransomware. And the MSP had to come back and say, yeah, you know what, we're sorry. We don't have enough staff to help you. Go find somebody else. So let's end the story there and let's talk about what can be done. I was throwing some ideas around for this episode, and it's a sensitive topic. I heard someone make a claim one time that changing IT service providers is like changing churches. Like, people are just, like, they're such a big part of your business, and they should be. And if they're not, then that's maybe something you should be looking at. They should be involved when you're expanding and hiring or shrinking or changing product lines, or your IT company, your service provider should be involved, because there are so many aspects of that they could help out with. So that's the first thing we need to be aware of, is your IT company needs to be involved. Secondly, we need to ensure that they are taking the proper steps to secure you. So some of these episodes that I've been doing are great ways to interact and get a feel for what your IT service provider is doing. Implementing 2FA, implementing proper backup and disaster recovery procedures. Now, the next step on that is questioning them. Have they set up 2FA? Have they made sure that their in-house systems, and we'll talk about in-house systems in a second, are being secured properly? Are they patching? Are they applying the same rigorous security protocols that they're hopefully providing for you to themselves? Back a little while ago, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here. Back a little while ago, when this happened to those municipalities in Texas, here at Shield Networks, we took it extremely serious. We basically took a big step back and started looking at how our systems integrate, how we're handling security amongst all of our various clients. We started making sure that we were, in fact, siloing each client to make sure that things were independent from client to client, to make sure that couldn't happen to us. And it was actually, to be really honest with you, it was a really stressful time. We were, I don't want to say afraid, but we wanted to make sure that we weren't going to be the next headline, and that our customers weren't going to be the next headline. So we really wanted to make sure and dig in. And through this is kind of how these episodes started to be created. I actually created a bunch of videos to talk about what we're doing and talk about the difference that Shield Networks was. And while they were humorous, you should check them out. They're on our Facebook page, and they did express the kind of the kind of stress-free relationship you should have with your IT provider. And I love them. My favorite one has got to be the golf player. Check that one out. That's awesome. But at the end of the day, I just find it did not do enough. So I wanted to sit down and start interacting with the public and communicate with them and tell them what they need to be doing. Because at Shield Networks, we hate, and I don't use that word lightly, we hate to see small businesses and medium businesses and any kind of business lose money, especially because of hackers, ransomware, and all of that sort of malware. So that's how these got started. Okay, so thirdly, hosting systems. So I'm a big believer in letting professionals do what professionals do. And so when it comes to us, we don't host, I can't think of anything that we host internally. For example, our internal ticketing system, the vendor that creates a ticketing system hosts that for us. It costs us a little bit more, but they make sure that the security updates are handled. They make sure that it's running in a secure environment. Our expertise is projects, migrating companies to Office 365, making sure that your systems are being monitored properly, that your systems are being rolled out properly, that your firewalls are up and running, and that sort of thing. What we're not great at, and what our expertise is not, is hosting third-party apps and having application servers and having to worry about that. We would rather spend a bit more and make sure it's secure. Finally, the fourth thing, and this is a really sensitive topic, cost. Or what is the price that you're spending on your managed services, on your IT services? If you're not spending anywhere from $125 per workstation up to $175 per workstation, now every company is different, I understand that. Every company has different requirements for applications and remote access, and some companies have multiple sites and they need multiple servers, so obviously that number fluctuates. But on the average, if you're not spending $125 to $175 per workstation per month, you need to go and question what you're paying for and what you're getting. If it's below that, I have to assume that service provider is taking shortcuts somewhere, and hopefully those shortcuts aren't with your security and with your reputation, honestly. And that's what it's coming down to. Just today, I'm reading about a security company down south that was hacked. Not only was their computers installed with ransomware, but before they encrypted their data, they actually stole about 5 gigabytes of data. And now they're taking this to a whole nother level where now not only are the companies having to worry about ransomware and recovering, but now they need to worry about those infections stealing the data first and truly making it ransom. Not only holding your data for ransom to use it, but now they're actually keeping a copy and releasing it. And these days with the privacy laws, the government can now come after you, and it costs big bucks, in fines and certainly reputation. So anyways, this was a little bit longer of an episode today, but it was on my heart and I really wanted to talk about it. If you guys have questions, anything you need to know, drop me a line and we'll talk soon. Have a great one. Take care.